This is 33% Pulp, squeezing the best out of 1/3 of a book. We review books with covers that make you wonder. I'm Daniel. That's Amber.
Hi.
And that's Lindsay.
Hi.
This is the third episode of our 3-part recap of the book, Night of the Crabs by Guy Smith. Disclaimer, spoilers ahead.
So last time on 33% Pulp, I
no,
read the...
two times ago.
Two last times ago. I read the first third, and we were introduced to our main character, Cliff Davenport. The first chapter was about his nephew and his nephew's hot young fiance. They were vacationing at the Welsh coast, and they got eaten by giant crabs. Cliff knew something was up, and he drove out there, where he met a beautiful young woman named Pat Benson, and they had begun to investigate the giant crabs, gotten a little waylaid by their hot passion for each other. But they, at the very end of the first third, they had sighted the crabs with their own eyes. They had just eaten a poor fellow by the name of Bartholomew.
Right. And so then my third starts, and they are realizing that, oh my god, we need some kind of military assistance for these crabs, because even though they have tanks and they're shooting these ballistics at the crabs, like the crabs are like unharmed, and the crabs then with their comrade crabs will lift up the tank and like throw it into the ocean, killing people. So this is a problem. And
a minor issue.
Yeah, Pat and I gotta say, I think that they didn't get waylaid with their sex, because they took a 3-day sex hiatus to plan and talk to these military people, and then they did have sex again. That's true.
Yeah.
And I
got boners, and I didn't.
Yeah, there were 2 boners at least.
I had 3 boners in my section.
Oh shit, you had more boners. Okay, so I think I only had 1 that I can recall anyway.
Total of 4 boners.
So there's been 4 boners.
Boners.
I can't even say it.
It's diminishing returns on these boners.
So there's been, erections. Erections have been erected, and they're they're in the cave right now. They're like diving into caves, trying to find the crab nest so that they can like dynamite it.
Yeah.
Blow it up.
Yeah.
So, chapter 10 is all about having found the crab's lair. Our hero and his allies must plan their counterattack. So we begin with Davenport swimming among the sleeping giant crabs in their cave system, heading back to the Welsh Queen, which, is nowhere to be found. Oops. It's not there anymore. They left. They fucking left him.
Dude,
Oops.
Pat Benson was so worried about him, though.
Yeah, she still is.
Oh my gosh.
They fucking left him?
They fucking left. Oops. So he's just like, okay, I guess I'll swim to shore.
Wow.
But remember, it's not a fucking island anyway. It's the island, not island.
Right.
So he's fine. Cut to Stan Williams being hunted by a giant crab, and I'm thinking at this point it's king crab, right?
Yeah.
As he dodges and weaves through a tunnel system, the crab is hot on his tail, but he's getting away. He's getting away. As he exits the tunnel system, though, he angles towards the water's surface, but it doesn't end well.
Uh-oh.
Freedom lay ahead of him. One final spurt. He started to rise. It was that which was his undoing. The giant crab gained another couple feet as its prey changed course and its one last despairing lunge made contact. Blinding pain surged through Williams. He knew that his left leg had gone just below the knee. Desperately, he tried to put the pain out of his mind, and then he was shooting upwards, leaving his attacker far behind him. A dull red trail followed him. Bye-bye, leg.
Oh!
He lost his leg. The dull red trail.
The TLDR leg.
Yeah.
Get ready, because there's more of this happening.
Okay, good.
This is Daniel reading hour. Crap. So he makes it to the surface, minus half a leg, where the Welsh Queen and a speeder have been waiting for signs of the 2 divers. So they have been waiting.
But why were they gone?
Because of What?
Why were they gone? They're like, we're just going to wait
Because-
over here.
I don't. Yeah, so that doesn't really make any sense.
Like
Okay.
they moved or
They
something?
must have. I don't know, because they were waiting for them, right? But then all of a sudden they weren't where he was.
Yeah, because
I
I'd
don't
be
know.
surprised if like Pat would just like let that go. 'cause
Right.
She doesn't seem.
Yeah. Well, so he makes it to the surface. The Welsh Queen and the speeder have been up there waiting for the two divers. Pat screams because she sees him coming up to the surface, and the boats all rush toward him. The speeder picks him up first, though, and he survives long enough to utter his dying words.
This is Stan. This
Stan
is
is dead. Stan is dying.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It's another one of those characters that
Yeah.
gets like a little bit and then, oh, bye.
You
Like, he's
were
supposed to be like
long
this-
enough for a name.
Yeah. So, crabs, he stammered. The words barely audible. Down, there, big cave, tunnel. Where, man, where? Grisdale knelt beside him, but the information was not forthcoming. Stan Williams was dead.
Oh, so dramatic. Oh my
Wow,
god.
yeah.
Crabs
Yeah.
down there.
What a way to
Crabs
start the
down.
book. Nice.
Well, yeah. So my third of the book is completely different from your 2/3.
Oh, really?
Just by the way, yeah. Okay, so we're cutting back to Cliff. Our hero, having successfully made his harrowing escape, has made his way back to the island not island, past the wreckage of the promenade and the fairgrounds, to the town hall, where he is briefly slowed down by a squatty, befuddled to see him alive. He goes inside and barges into a meeting among members of the Ministry of Defense and Armed Forces, much to their surprise, considering the fate of Williams.
How would they even know though? Yeah. Because it's not like
Well, they know that
maybe
Williams
like
is dead.
radio.
Because
Radios,
so the
yeah.
speeder picks up Williams, and then he's on the deck of the speeder. The
Hmm.
Welsh Queen gets there. Grisdale and whoever else.
Grisdale's
disembark.
back.
Oh,
Yeah, Grisdale's
yeah.
there. He's on the Welsh Queen,
Okay.
and he.
Oh my god!
goes- he's
They
the
should
one-
have said that he's on the Welsh Queen.
Well, I just did.
Oh, you did?
Because where did it go? Where I said, "Where, man, where?"
Oh, that was Grisdale.
Yeah,
Okay.
Grisdale knelt beside
My
him.
bad.
Yeah.
Couldn't you tell from the
He was
voice?
there. Yeah. Get ready.
That was Grisdale through and through.
So, right. In walks in our hero, and this is Grisdale. My God! Grisdale's jaw dropped. It can't be, but it is! I just wanted to read that because it's like his reaction. So they're
Also-
all like, oh my
also
God, he's
Daniel's-
alive.
Also, just for the listeners at home,
Oh, okay.
because I know that you're out there, or in your car, or in the bathtub. Okay, so Daniel and I are recording together this week, which is because he's in town. Also, Daniel's a great actor.
I wish I could see
If
his
the
I don't think I
psychiatry
would go
thing
that
doesn't
far.
work out, you should try stage acting.
Voice acting? Stage acting? Voice acting.
All right. Continue.
Don't have a whole lot of range though, because they're all going to sound the same. Okay.
It's alright. Look at Scarlett Johansson.
So,
Burn.
You can be like
I can be like
Scarjo.
Scarlett Johansson. Scarjo, is that? Okay. Oh god. Okay. Lost in translation. Okay, so he's there, everyone's like, whoa, are you still alive? And then they jump into forming a plan to blow up the crab caves with a timed explosion. He's later taken back to Pat, who urges him not to go because she's very damsel in distress. Oh, Cliff, she cried as she flung her arms around him. Don't go back down there, please. Let them plant the bomb. You've done more than your share already. So she's like not into it. But of course, he's the one who has to do the thing. So
well, which kind of makes sense because what's he gonna do? So you go down and then diagonal and then over around this big rock and then like
So when you see
Like-
the water,
how are you gonna? Yeah.
yeah.
turn left.
Poor Pat.
Yeah.
She's we're bad. Damn.
I know, and her husband just left her, and now this guy's gonna go into a cave
I thought
and
he
die.
died.
Her husband? No, he left her.
I was thinking that she was a widower, right? But
I
that's-
thought
Oh.
she was a widower.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Is she?
she was a widower. Yes, she
Okay.
was getting
Jeez.
over it. No, wait,
Pat
no,
Benson
wait.
is valuable.
Cliff,
No, I don't-
Cliff is a widower, and Pat Benson just got divorced. Cliff
There you
is a
go.
widower
There you go.
because Pat would be a widow. Because she's older.
Right.
There's two different
Oh,
words for it. Anyway, Cliff widower, Pat Benson.
I didn't even know there was a
dumped.
difference.
Either way, it's got to be
Dumped.
traumatic for her.
So she needs another hero in her life.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's the one that has to do the thing. He reassures her he'll be fine, of course. And it's here that I got my first taste of sexy imagery.
Ooh,
your first taste. Here we go.
My first taste, though I was pretty underwhelmed.
I think
Sad
that's
story.
a song by Fiona Apple.
Is that? No.
The first taste.
Oh, first taste, yeah.
I was underwhelmed.
I know that song. Yeah. Okay.
It's a track right after Paperback.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was underwhelmed.
Oh, I was pretty underwhelmed by the sexy imagery. So here it is. Gently, his hands began unfastening zips and clasps. Together, they slid into the cool, inviting bed. As they came together, they were living for the present only. That which had gone before and that which awaited them on the morrow was pushed out of their minds.
That's
Yeah.
very
So they had
gentle.
sex.
Derp, no boners, sorry.
Yeah.
Again, no meat, right?
There's no meat.
We know what Lindsay
This
wants.
is strictly vegetarian.
I guess to be fair, we haven't been like her, like in A Song of Ice and Fire, like George R. R. Martin is like her swampy,
Oh.
like
Oh,
wetness. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
swampy
horrible.
wetness?
Yeah, I would rather zippers than
Yeah.
swampy
We did
wetness.
hear about her
Clasps.
pubes, though.
Oh, did we?
Remember her pubes? It was like a dark triangle
Oh, there's a
on
triangle.
the white
Right.
thighs in the moonlight. Yeah.
What's on her fucking thighs?
Oh my god, no, it's just her thighs. It's just white in the moonlight. And then her pubes are the dark triangle.
Oh, I thought. Okay, all right.
The Dark Triforce. Okay. So, okay, now it's chapter 11. No boners, and then chapter 11. So, having decided to place a mine at the entrance of the cave the next day, Cliff dives down, and the whole thing goes without a hitch. The timer is set, and after an hour, it explodes. The
Why would it
caves-
be an hour?
That's
I don't know. It was a really arbitrary number, actually.
Okay.
They're like, let's do it for an hour. Let's wait an hour. And
Maybe
then-
they gotta get away. They gotta get away.
I guess, but do you need it's not a big place, right? Do you need a full hour?
Yeah, an hour
I
feels
guess.
like a
I don't
long
know.
They like go back to shore, get a drink.
No, but really, because there's a scene where Grisdale and Cliff are like drinking whiskey later after the bomb explodes. So that was the thing. That
This
happened.
author must really like whiskey.
Yeah, and
That was
cigars.
that other guy's.
Whiskey and
That's
pipes.
that other guy's issue, though. The
Oh yeah, the drunk. Good.
Good.
It was just good, right?
Stale.
Grisdale.
No, his name was
Grisdale?
like Goodall or Good
Oh.
Stale or probably not Good Stale and Grisdale. But anyway,
Okay,
Goodard.
so the timer is set. After an hour, it explodes. The caves are destroyed, and everyone is relieved. Hence the whiskey drinking. Later, he's spending some time. Our hero Cliff is spending some time with Bay, and suggests they go out for a walk, where he proposes super awkwardly. I'm not
What?
going to read that out. 'Cause it's just weird.
Proposes?
Anyway, yeah, he
Wait.
proposes because they're like
Wow.
gonna get married now because the crabs are dead, and now like
In 2 weeks is all you
wait.
really
Okay,
need.
so that was so. That's the end of the crabs. The crabs are dead.
No,
now.
Lindsay.
well, this is chapter 11, and there's still 12, 13, and 14. So that gives you any
Okay.
indication.
Okay,
But they are
okay,
celebrating.
okay. But you're not going
It's
to
a
read us
red
the
herring.
proposal?
It's
How
a
did they
red
propose?
herring.
Was it on the beach?
He's
Was
like,
did
he
get down
says
on one knee?
something. Oh, okay, do I need to read
All
this?
right, I do not necessarily.
He
Yes.
says something and it comes out like all wrong and stupid, and it turns into like a really bad pun. And
Oh.
then she's like, "Oh, are you asking me to get married to you?" Is that like, yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid.
Wow.
Anyway,
It's like super fast. for
That
both
was
of
so
them.
fast. This is less than
whatever.
a fortnight,
I mean,
right?
trauma.
It's true.
What?
It's less than.
I think so.
Less than a fortnight.
Sharon
Also,
Trauma.
fucking Amber just said fortnight.
Well, that's what they
Amber
said.
measures things in fucking fortnights. Amber's like 4 and
That's
2
how-
fortnights ago.
That's what Pat said. Oh my god.
Jesus, she also
That's
like
three-
corrected our
that's three
widower thing.
All
All right,
right.
Jeopardy.
So,
Jesus.
Trebek.
oh
Be
my
nice,
god.
Trebek.
Oh my god. Pat's the one that said she was going to
Anyway,
be there
okay.
a fortnight. Go on.
Okay, so they're all in Lerv and stuff and hanging out on a grassy knoll. Literally, it says grassy knoll. When, oh no, they spot some giant crabs hanging out on the hillside.
What more?
Again.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, well, they're like, So it's like night.
Pointing and laughing with their pincers
Like
with like, look at those assholes who got blown up.
They just all like amass on this hillside randomly, and then anyway. So again, the Pat Bay tries to convince Homeboy to let someone else take care of it, but of course he has to go play the hero. She's like, "You've done everything you could possibly have done," she consoled him. "It's not your fault. Can't we just go away and leave them to it?" He shook his head. "No," he sighed. "I've got to see it through. I'm afraid we'll have to postpone that wedding."
Oh my God.
We can't
Jesus.
get married. We can't get married right now
Postpone
because
the
giant
wedding.
crowds.
What was it, like in an hour?
They just got
Yeah.
engaged.
Yeah. Shut
Wow.
up. Anyway, so big giant crabs ruined our wedding. Oh my God.
He's like, no second thoughts. Not yet, anyway.
It's not a sign. It's not a bad omen. So that leads us into chapter 12. It's been a few days. There's no sign of the crabs, so everyone is just kind of hanging out, waiting for something to happen. Colonel Matthews shows
Oh wait,
up.
what happened to the grassy knoll crabs?
They were watching them, and then they lose sight of them because it gets too dark, and they go back out, and then they're gone the next day. So then everyone's like, "Oh, they're gone. What do we do?"
They're gone. We're concerned, not they're gone.
No, they're concerned because they're like, okay, well, they're blowing up the cave totally didn't fucking work. So
okay.
So yeah, everyone's just hanging out. Colonel Matthews shows up to Cliff's place to wave his dick around a little bit, with Cliff telling Pat Bay to piss off in the most politely condescending way.
Most politely condescending.
Colonel Matthews, he muttered to Pat. "Push along, darling, and amuse yourself for half an hour. No doubt Grizzly's been giving his telephone bill a bashing already." Your face. He basically told her to piss off. He's like, "Push along, please.
Yeah,
can you go somewhere else for a minute?"
Wow.
Oh my God.
What's the telephone bill thing? I didn't get that.
So Grisdale would be calling this military guy nonstop.
Okay.
My brother.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like you're holding up the line or something.
No.
Because she's chatting about doing her nails with her.
Yeah,
friends
I'm
or
sure she
something.
called all of her best friends to talk about the wedding. Blah, blah, blah.
She's like, we got this Thai Elvis coming in.
Oh.
Gonna do the ceremony.
Thai Elvis.
Okay, so Matthews and Cliff throw a little shade at each other, but that's about it. Cliff is all, "Dude, tanks with armor-piercing rounds can't kill these crabs." And Matthews is all, "It's not the tanks, it's the people driving the tanks that are the problem."
Oh.
And Cliff is all like, "Fine, do whatever you want."
Can you imagine this though? Can you just imagine this? I'm sorry. If they were really like this, you can do whatever you want.
Okay, fine.
That's funny.
Okay, so
Look in the mirror.
okay, so a week passes, so there's more time. Nothing's happening. Then there's a big storm, which prompts the professor, who is what did we decide? He's a botanist, but he's a marine botanist.
I think we decided that he's a marine botanist.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Okay, right.
Because, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So he is prompted to explain the natural behavior of normal crabs to the bay. And apparently, they're instinctually governed by the elements. So he says, "Deep down on the ocean bed, they are fully aware what is happening above. The habits of our friendly little common crab can be compared with these horrors. Of that, I feel sure." So, okay, got it. The crabs are just giant and more menacing versions of normal crabs.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah.
Given that this is chapter 12, right?
Chapter 12.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then another totally underwhelming line about them having sex. So,
Read it.
"Yet, with the coming of dusk, their thoughts turn to matters other than the ever-present threat of the giant crabs."
Oh.
That's it.
Well, it could have been, that's not necessarily sex. They could have been
Eating their melons for
I
breakfast.
mean, but it's like a pulp novel, right? So it's supposed to be sex, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Or maybe I'm just like, I'm trying to
Or
find
like-
sex in the
Yeah,
words
Danielle's
because I
like,
didn't have any.
Is this sex, you guys?
I'm feeling a little thirsty, so I'm trying to find
This is clearly sex.
This is clearly sex. They stop thinking about the crabs and then they fuck, okay?
If you read the first letter of every line down the page, it spells sex. So I think it's sex.
It's like a really short page. That we've been around.
Oh my god.
It's like experimental poetry from Guy N. Smith.
Ooh.
Okay. Anyway. So, sad story. No sex.
Yeah.
Cut to the next morning.
Whatever, Amber.
What?
Fuck.
What?
I'm just trying to get some sexy time, okay?
I want you to have it too.
Oh, that was her encouraging me.
Yeah, I feel
she's
bad.
being
Yeah,
generous.
you
Got
need it.
Wow. Wow.
That was
Okay.
me impersonating Amber.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
that
yeah,
wasn't
okay.
me saying
Oh my
that you
God.
need it.
Got it. Not a minute.
Amber's like, this is not gonna stay.
Okay. Cut to the next morning. This train driver, Di Peters, spelled D-A-I, but it doesn't really matter because it's clear that he's about to die.
Oh my god. His name is Di?
His name is Di Peters.
Peters.
And he's clearly about to die.
So that's sex. Peters.
It's really, really on the nose.
Di Peters? What is this misandry?
Anyway, so he's thinking about these nightmares he's having, or that he has had, over crossing a bridge while driving his train. Spoiler alert, he dies every time, in his dream. This time, though, we're not dreaming, and it's post-storm, and there's a lot of fog and low visibility. He makes it to the bridge, and oh my god, no, there's a giant crab blocking the path.
Whoa!
So, of course, he has this
This
brilliant...
is real life?
This is real life.
Okay.
So, like, yes,
I mean, this is
this
not
is real
a
life. There are giant crabs.
Yes. You can search the
On
obituary.
Shell Island.
It says
We're
it.
not,
Shell Island
we're not in
invasion.
the dream anymore.
No, we're not.
Okay.
We're not on Dreamland anymore. So, of course, he has this brilliant idea to ram the train into a line of giant crabs who are, as we know, totally resistant to tanks and heavy artillery. So
Yeah.
it's not a thing. Surprise! It goes poorly. The train and the bridge come crashing down, and everyone dies.
Whoa.
And from the book, yeah.
In the
everyone's
train, or like, what does that mean, everyone? What do you mean? Put boundaries on this, as I tell my students.
so everyone in the train.
It was a
Nothing
passenger
moved.
train.
Yeah.
It was
Sorry.
a passenger train.
Mhm. So nothing moved except the crabs. Scuttling down the bent and broken supports, they dropped back into the water, hastening to claim the prize that was theirs. Tender human flesh.
Woo!
It's much more like a horror book at this
Yeah.
point. Then
Oh
there's
my
no sexy
goodness.
times.
Very little sexy times. I mean, you've definitely had to read it into it.
Yeah.
I did, yeah. I had to find it, okay?
Put forth effort.
I had to go searching. It's like looking for a buried treasure. Okay, so chapter 13. This is where we start seeing a bit more of the professor's behavioral analysis of the crabs, especially king crab.
Mm.
It's still really foggy, and Cliff says that's exactly what the king crab was waiting for.
Mm.
He's the most cunning enemy the world has ever met.
Oh my god.
Wow. Is this
Like, this is worse
post-Hitler?
than fucking Hitler.
Right?
This is worse than fucking Genghis Khan. Who P.S. was not.
I mean, look at poor Bartholomew. Like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's
They
pretty
tore him-
bad.
They tore him to pieces.
And he waits for fog? How evil is that?
Well,
Night
remember,
Stalker.
Yeah.
the crabs are fully aware
Both of
down
them.
on the ocean floor of
Mhm.
what's going on up here.
Mhm.
So, because they're controlled by the elements or something like that.
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, jeez. Fog is very creepy.
Yeah.
It's very ominous. Okay, so
In books.
he's the most cunning enemy the world has ever met, and he doesn't intend to confine himself to the Welsh coast alone. I'd stake my bank balance on that.
bank balance.
So, like, he is willing to put money down that these crabs want to fucking take over the world.
Cliff
Wow.
is also like, I have $5 in my account. This is why I'm so invested in this, is because I am an
Not gonna lose
unemployed
anything.
marine botanist.
All of my marine
Dude.
botanist wealth, I would bet on.
I would stake my bank account on
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a crab.
You can edit that out.
You got it.
Their raids are commando style, the professor mused. A quick attack and back to the sea. I've been asking myself why they don't venture further afield. It isn't the fear of counterattacks which makes them retreat. They can stand up to heavy artillery, but, well, take the Battle of Barmouth or the Shell Island invasion. They weren't ashore for more than a few hours on either occasion.
Good point. Good point. The Battle of Barmouth, I think, was over in like 90 minutes or something very, yeah.
It was quick.
Yeah.
Those crabs don't fuck around. Okay, so meanwhile...
Daniel wishes they would fuck around, then he'd have some sex to read.
I wonder if there's a queen crab. Wouldn't that be funny?
How are they
there's
reproducing?
how many books in the series?
There
Yeah.
must be a queen crab.
Oh, I bet you're right.
I bet you the queen crab comes up in a later book, no?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Queen crab.
The queen of them all. Okay. Anyway, so meanwhile, military presence has been beefed up. There's even a couple of destroyers stationed at the mouth of the estuary that the bridge used to cross.
These are ships in battleship. Go on.
Which, I guess, I don't know, would they even fit one? Probably, whatever. Anyway. They're just destroyers. It's fine. So, days go by with no sign of the crabs, again. There are people now rebuilding the bridge, and apparently civilians are pouring into the area to see if they can't catch a peek of the destruction. Then, out of nowhere, tidal waves begin crashing against the bridge and the
Whoa.
repair workers. Oh no, it's the crabs!
Out of nowhere? Like the tide?
Out of the tide, yeah. So they created a tidal wave, and
Wow.
then
Of crabs or
of water.
Okay.
But the crabs are the ones that are
That
responsible.
would be terrifying, though.
A tidal wave of crabs.
I wouldn't put it past him.
That would be. I don't even know. Yeah, that's
It's
pretty
the
scary.
fourth book.
On and on they came. 100, 2, 3, 4. It was impossible to count them. Clickety click. Clickety click. I'm sorry, I just really wanted to say that line.
I'm glad you did.
And it's in italics, right?
It's in italics.
So what the hell did their dynamite do?
Dynamite. What?
When they blew up the cave, what happened?
Oh, obviously nothing. I don't
Yeah.
know. They never actually... Guy Smith never takes us back to the cave.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. These crabs.
So, yeah, right.
Very cunning.
King Crab is very cunning.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So-
really the queen. It's really the queen.
The queen behind it in book 4 or 5.
Because that's it's her power, right? Because she's the queen, and that's why she's not. I'm trying to make a chess
Behind
analogy.
every
I'm trying to make a
strong
chess,
crab. Chess,
Behind
analogy.
every strong man crab
I
is
was
a strong crab woman.
No, I'm trying to make a chess.
I thought you were
That
doing
too.
bees. But
That
no.
too, but I was
Yeah.
trying. Oh yeah, Queen Bees.
Yeah.
With Beyonce.
Yes.
Queen Bey.
Full circle here.
Full circle. Full circle back to Night of the Crabs and Beyonce.
Okay. So, cut to Cliff and Bay sitting around reading the newspaper as our hero comes up with an idea of how to fight them. So, in bold print on the newspaper. Child drinks weed killer and dies, he read. An 8-year-old girl who drank a solution of paraquat weed killer last week in her parents' garden in Surrey died this morning. There is no known antidote. Parents are warned.
Weed killer?
Child drinks weed killer and dies.
This is the fucking front page news?
Mhm.
It's a small town. You read about the population.
It's a small place.
Yeah, it's a tiny, tiny place, but why are they... I'm sorry, I'm spitting all over you.
No,
Why
you're
is...
fine.
Why is the news not covering...
Oh my
Night
god,
of
that's a good
Crabs?
point. Yeah,
Maybe
didn't
the
like
military's
an
trying to cover it
entire
up. I don't know.
an entire train load of people just die, and they're like,
Yeah.
How many
Just
people been
disappeared.
dying?
Mhm.
Haven't
also,
people
there's
been
a
dying for
picnic at the
fucking
local
fortnight?
church tomorrow night. It's a potluck, so bring your casserole. Did you guys miss what I said earlier? That probably didn't make sense.
No, Lindsay said Fortnite again. For you.
I said Fortnite, so...
Damn it! Should we record? Let's start over.
This is like word bingo. I said Fortnite, so... Freeze
Okay.
face.
Paraquat. He banged his fist into the palm of his other hand. Paraquat weed killer. Deadly to all forms of life. Kills through the pores. Rots the lungs. I wonder.
Do crabs have lungs?
P.S. He just did like a Dr. Evil type finger motion to his fucking face. So.
Oh, that's great.
There's some emoting going on right now.
It's good. I like it.
Okay, so cut again to the armed forces as they're being overwhelmed by thousands of crabs who even end up toppling over a massive super tank because, again, we've already established that they're impervious to tanks.
Yeah.
This whole last chapter reads like a war movie, except with soldiers and civilians running away from giant explosives / fire-resistant crabs, interspersed with scenes of our hero getting a truckload of weed killer to the island to put onto a helicopter equipped with a crop sprayer.
Can you just... I'm sorry, I missed it. How is this weed killer going to be more effective than dynamite?
Because it burns the lungs of all living things.
Because it kills through the pores, Lindsay.
Through the pores. Do crabs have lungs?
Rots the lungs.
Someone Google. I'll Google.
Yeah, you
exoskeleton, it has to have pores. No, it doesn't have to have pores because they have open circulatory systems. So, they don't. They have closed.
FYI, eating crab lungs can be harmful.
Oh, yeah,
what?
Because of parasites
the weed
that
killer.
can be found in crab lungs.
What can be found? Parasite?
This is the sentence, literally.
Okay.
So this is no longer Guy and Smith. This is something that
the internet.
ChaCha.com has given me.
Your go-to source for all crab knowledge.
For reliable information. ChaCha.com.
Clickety click.
Okay. Eating crab lungs can be harmful because of parasites that can be found in crab lung. Lung fluke parasite in the lungs stimulate or destroy lung tissue, can cause cough, hematosis,
yeah.
And even if the invasive brain
would cause what? This sentence doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, ChaCha.com. Thank you. Sponsored by ChaCha.com.
But not really, though.
But not really. We wouldn't mind your sponsorship.
But we're open to it if they want to.
Yes, please. ChaCha.com. Just reach out to me. Us. And we are 3. All letters.
Once you hit that @ symbol, you're going to want to stay
those are numbers. Pulp.com.
Oh my god. You guys, this is like off the rails. Alright.
Yeah, we totally do. Giant crabs. Okay. So, are you okay over there? As the crabs approach the front lines of the armed forces, Colonel Matthews makes a last desperate attempt to slow them down by burning several acres of dry grassland, even though it's been made abundantly clear that fire isn't going to work. King Crab himself was the first to enter the blazing area. Smoke billowed as he moved. He did not even hasten his waddle. His waddle, you guys.
I like this verb.
That's
waddle,
intimidating,
yes.
yeah.
Others began to follow him. Impossible! Colonel Matthews drew his revolver. 6 times he fired, and then the hammer was clicking on an empty chamber. His earlier confidence had abandoned him.
Oof, Colonel Matthews.
Poor Matthews.
He's gonna regret that.
Shouldn't have been an asshole to Pat Benson is what he shouldn't have done.
I think he's getting his comeuppance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
AKA karma.
Well,
AKA Fortnite.
So, I don't know if karma exists in this world. Pervy uncle and all.
Yeah.
Okay, so the crabs almost catch up to Matthews and the military when Grisdale and Cliff fly into the rescue with the helicopter and they begin spraying the weed killer at the crabs. Okay, so this is like a paraphrase version of the last couple of pages. Okay.
This is like an ad for Terminex.
Right, yes. His whole book. Well, does Terminex use paraquat?
Paraquat.
Is paraquat in there? I don't even know what paraquat is.
Maybe
Never heard of it.
Okay. King Crab, previously unperturbed by any attacks from land, sea, or air, sensed that this was no ordinary puny human assault. The spray caught him in the face, stinging and almost blinding him. His pincer waved wildly. It was almost as if there was something personal in the way he was being attacked, Even he sensed that.
Even wait,
Cliff
even
is
who
like
says?
Cliff has a vendetta, and the king crab can like sense this.
Oh,
Yeah. The advance of the crabs was halted. Blindly, they huddled together for protection. Perhaps without their leader, they would have stayed and died where they were. With a supreme effort, King Crab turned back and shambled amongst his demoralized followers. Viciously, his pincers struck out, striking shell after shell. The crabs were shaken out of their lethargy. Like robots, they followed in the wake of the one whom they believed to be the supreme being. I love Guy Smith. Thank you, Guy Smith.
you know what? I wasn't listening because I was thinking. No, I was half listening, but because you know what I was thinking. What you made me think is Cliff Davenport the king crab of humans?
Oh my god!
Which is why they have this like ESP like.
They have some kind of like they have a connection.
They do.
They have a connection.
It's real. I fucking think that their connection is more legit than his connection with Pat Benson.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sad story.
They don't even need to talk.
That's deep. So are these crabs in a cult though? They're like their leader.
I mean, their supreme being is
right?
King Crab.
That's a little culty.
Culty crabs. Culty giant crabs.
Our dear leader, King Crab.
Yeah.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, people.
Uh-huh. Might have weed killer in it.
They didn't want to drink the Kool-Aid.
Drink your juice, Shelby. More from the book. The most bizarre retreat in the history of warfare. Shambling, clicking crabs, the helicopter keeping pace with them, barely 10 feet above them, spraying them with paraquat weed killer the whole time. Past Arthog, which by the way, I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Never heard it. Yeah.
It must be
sounds good.
A spot there. Anyway, veering to avoid the bridge, and then, as the monsters sensed the presence of salt water, they increased their speed. A last desperate effort so that they might die in their own domain? It ends with a question mark, okay?
Wait, that's the end of the book?
That sentence in the book.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
This is coming from the book, yeah.
Okay.
I condensed it so it was less.
Okay.
That's ridiculous. King Crab remained motionless, squatting alone on the bank as his subjects entered the muddy water and disappeared from view. Even then, he did not move. Only his glinting eyes gave any sign that he was still alive. Go in on the bastard, Cliff shouted. Give him everything you've got.
That was good. Cliff.
That was a good cliff. I liked that cliff.
Me too. I get what
the
Pat's
helicopter was still low.
It's Pat.
The helicopter went still lower, paraquat gushing from the spray. The sandy-colored monster crab became covered in foam. He rolled over, then he righted himself again, his evil eyes raised toward the men and the machine responsible for his final overthrow. And this is the best part. The best part. I almost died when I first read it. A claw was raised, a gesture of defiance, an expression of unbelievable malignance. He might be thwarted, but he refused to concede. He moved, scarcely able to drag himself down to the edge of the lapping water. Then he was gone with scarcely a ripple to show that he had ever been. Yay, they did it, you guys.
Whoa!
Look, that crab eyes are like...
I'm looking at a picture of a crab right now.
Crab eyes are like... How would you describe that? They're like sticking out.
They're like at the end of antennae.
They're at the end of antennae.
Mm-hmm.
If you had not seen a crab...
Google.
Oh, you've seen
other
seen
search
Little
engines
Mermaid.
are available.
Oh yeah, I guess are his eyes like not connected to his body though?
Yeah.
No, they are. They just extend out.
I know.
Yeah, they're on their own little appendage though. Yeah.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So, yay, they did it. The crab's weakness was weed killer this whole time.
Well,
oh my God.
first of all, great storytelling.
That was really good.
I mean, yeah.
Not to pat ourselves on the back.
Wait.
What?
From the last bit of the book.
Oh.
Next morning, as Cliff and Pat headed back along the coast road, the sea was a deep blue. Scarcely a wave rippled its surface. I wonder, Pat mused, I wonder just what lies out there, deep down on the seabed.
Bitch, you just found out.
It was crabs, you dumb.
It was fucking crabs. That's like, where have you been in the last fortnight?
Oh, here we go again. Oh my God. definitely a drinking game. Cliff dropped his left hand onto her thigh and squeezed it gently. Perhaps it's better not to know, he replied. The secrets of the deep are better left undisturbed. The end.
Was that the end of the book?
That's the end of the book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yay.
Mic
Well
drop.
done.
Yeah, that was
Well
beautiful.
done. Good job, us.
Yeah.
We did it. So how do we feel?
That was a great book.
That was really good. I kind of want to go and read the second and thirds myself, just to get the full experience of it. But that's because that was not what I had pictured or imagined when I finished the first.
Wow, yeah, I would have never
cover.
imagined we'd kill it.
Right? Out of the blue.
I mean, King Crab was able to, like, save all his followers, right? And wave his claw at Cliff at the helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh.
A sign of what is it? Where did it go? An expression of unbelievable malignance.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
The claw is just waving.
He makes a little fist with it. Lift Davenport!
Damn you!
So do we all believe that the crabs are still in the ocean? They just don't have a leader now? Or is the idea that they're all dead?
Wait, no, King Crab is still around, no?
They're all still around because he
All
ushered
of
them back into the
them.
ocean.
Okay. I thought King Crab had died just got swept out.
I would love to know. I guess I could Google it if I really wanted to know.
If their weed killer bites through their
No, if
exoskeleton.
there's a queen crab, if they're gonna come back with queen crab or something. That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Guess we'll have to never know.
Stay tuned.
Excellent. So, So yeah, I thought that was a good book. I liked it. I thought that there was really great structure, actually, in terms of
really good
storyline. And I do think that there were some good lines. There were some really well written lines.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was a good book. Okie dokie. So the next book that we're gonna read is The Man from Pansy by Don Rico.
Don Rico.
Don Rico. And have you started it? Be honest.
Me, no.
Okay, we're publicly shaming Daniel.
Oh,
and
I have class.
I started.
I'm close too. I don't know if you remember, but okay. So I've started it, but I'm not done with my first third. But it's pretty amazing. As a general overview, it's about this guy. He's a G-man.
A G-man.
Government
undercover.
Man. Oh. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what G stands for. Undercover.
He's a G-string, which stands for government string.
Oh my god.
What does J-string stand for?
J-string? G-string?
G-string?
It's like the G-spot.
Genital.
I have no idea.
It's a genital string.
What's the correct term for banana hammock?
It's a genital string. Oh my god.
Yeah, but it's a great book. It's a great cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, check out the cover.
I'm thoroughly enjoying the first third. I think I don't want to make any comparisons, but my first third is quite good, I think.
Is it structured as well?
I can't say. Literally, that's the point of our podcast, is that we can't say. But,
damn it.
But I will say that, based on what I remember Amber saying from the first third of Night of the Crabs, I do think that there is a bit more, exposition and, I don't know, there's random shit that fucking happens. I'm not gonna
I was gonna say, are you saying that the crab characters were not developed as well as you would like them to be?
The crabs, King Crab, I feel like I had a sense of his motivations and what he was going for.
Tender human flesh?
Which was human flesh. as relayed to us by Cliff Davenport, because once you go human, you never go back. But the Man from Pansy is great. It's like he has to go undercover as a gay man, which in LA is very hard to do. I mean, it's just your cover's gonna get blown. I don't know. I don't know. But
wait, so are you saying that he's straight and then he's going undercover as?
No one knows
God.
yet. You don't know.
Nobody
You're
knows.
reading, what part are you reading? The climax?
The middle, no.
He's in the middle, yeah. So
Which is the climax? Yeah, you're reading the
No,
climax.
climax, right? Got it.
Or
hopefully there's.
Daniel's
So hopefully I get a little
finally.
bit more action this time.
Yeah.
I bet you will, because I've already come across a couple things. Except
Ooh.
for I will say that it's all been heterosexual, but we'll talk about it. We will talk about it in our next episode, which will be episode 1 of The Man from Pansy. So, as a reminder, we are holding a drawing for a very valuable bookmark and a copy of the next book that we will read, which is the book that I've been talking to.
A corpse. Oh wait, for this one, yeah.
Nope.
Which is
Shh, we will announce it though.
Yes, we will. We're holding a drawing for the bookmark and the next book that we'll read, A Man from Pansy by Don Rico. To enter, leave an iTunes review. 2 winners will be announced during the 3rd episode of our 3rd book, which will be A Corpse for Christmas, because it's the holiday season, and we know that. So we are responding accordingly.
Because we're good at podcasting.
Because we are good at calendars. Yes, so thank you for listening. And to keep up with the show, subscribe to this podcast wherever you subscribe to podcasts currently. Or however you're listening to us now, whether it's iTunes or somewhere else. If you would like to reach us via social media, our Twitter handle is, at 33, those are the digits, _Pulp. On Instagram, we are at 33Pulp, those are digits. Our website is 33pulp.com, those are also digits. And you can email us at weare3...
THREE.
Spelling. At 33pulp.com, digits. Alright, so for Guy and Smith and Night of the Crabs, we are signing out.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye!